Hey, John Hickok here. I've got the DP12 from Standard Manufacturing. Sunday GUNDAY.
What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. Today we're taking a look at one of the most requested guns on this channel, the KRISS Vector. Now before we get into this, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my buddy John Hickok for helping me with the intro. If for some reason you don't know John, his dad, or you don't recognize their iconic range, I will leave a link to the Hickok 45 channel down below. John and his dad are the OG gun tubers. They've been doing it for a long time and basically pioneered gun content here on YouTube. Recently, John has been working on his own channel, Hickok 45 & Son, where he's venturing out and doing a variety of different things on the same channel, similar to what I do here. He's been doing everything from podcasts to vlogs, and my personal favorite, a series where he takes a gun from a video game like Battlefield 1 and compares it to how the gun really is in real life. If you like my content, chances are you're gonna like what he's doing over on his channel, so I will leave a link for that down below. Go tell him that I sent you. Without further ado, let's get into this thing. This is my KRISS Vector SDP chambered in 9mm. The Vector has been out since 2009, so instead of slamming you with specs that you already know, I'll go over what I like about it personally and what makes it unique. To start off, this thing is rocking a 5.5-inch threaded barrel. It accepts regular full-size Glock mags, so capacity is 17+1, or any magazine bigger than that like this 33 rounder. On top, I have Magpul M-Bus flip-up sights and a Trijicon MRO. One of my favorite modifications that I've done so far was adding the M4 buffer tube adapter, a buffer tube, and the SB tactical brace. Out of the box, this thing comes with an end cap and a sling point attachment, which is fine. However, I prefer a more sturdy third point of contact like this brace when shooting. If you want to see me unboxing this gun and setting it up to how it is right now, I will leave a link to that video right here. Now, what's the deal with this thing? Why does it look like this? The reason for the funky design behind this thing all revolves around the recoil system, which this gun is known for. A normal AR like this one here, once fired, sends the force of the bolt straight backwards and into your shoulder, which is the recoil that you feel. This gun, on the other hand, sends the force of the bolt backwards and then re-vectors the force downwards, hence how they got the name Vector. Let me take this thing down and give you a better idea of how it works. Takedown on this is pretty simple. You're just going to remove these 3 push pins to start. That will actually remove all the parts that's registered as a firearm from the rest of the gun. What's good about this is that it makes changing calibers really easy, so if I want this in 45, I'll just buy one of these lowers with 45 parts. Another thing that's unique about this gun, if you look up here in the trigger housing, this right here is the hammer. I'll push it back into the firing position. If you're familiar with AR-15s, you'll know that the hammer normally swings upward like this. However, on the Vector, if I pull the trigger, the hammer swings downward. Now to get access to the bolt and the recoil spring in here, there's one last pin on the bottom. Now I'm going to hold this together because if I let it go, the whole assembly will slide out. Here we have the 5.5-inch threaded barrel, the bolt, and if I drop this back, you can see how the recoil system works. So imagine a round in the chamber, the bolt is closed, and you squeeze the trigger. In an AR, the bolt will come straight back and straight forward. On this, the bolt will come backward a couple inches to eject the round, but then it re-vectors the recoil and it pushes it down into the bottom springs here. In the back here, you can see the recoil springs, and I'll just pull the whole assembly out. What allows it to do that is this articulating bolt in the assembly. Like I said, really unique, and as you're about to see, really effective as well. So this recoil system, coupled with a really low bore axis, a stabilizing brace, and a small yet effective round, it really makes for an awesome package that you can shoot quickly and precisely while still keeping it easy to control. On the other hand, this unique design does make it a little bit tricky for people operating it when they're picking it up for the first time. All of the controls seem to be mashed up on this side of the gun, but if I explain it to you, it might make a little bit more sense. The first thing to note is that the bolt travel is really short, a lot shorter than people realize. I see so many people pick up this gun and try chambering around full force like you would an AR, but they don't realize that it only moves a couple inches. Now, if done properly, when you pull the bolt back, you'll notice that the bolt catch is right in line with your pointer finger, so you just push your pointer finger down and the bolt stays locked back. Now when holding the gun, it can be a little awkward at first because there's a lot of stuff going on up here, but once you get used to it, it actually makes operation pretty easy. The bolt you can drop with the press of your thumb. Some people prefer to hold it lower. I've actually seen people do a thumb over style grip. I kind of keep my hand right in between. The only thing that I have to make sure of is that I'm not hitting the bolt catch. This has an ambidextrous safety, which is super easy to get with your thumb or your trigger finger if you prefer. And that's pretty much it for the overview. Let's go shoot this thing. Alright, so as you saw, the recoil system on this thing is sick. Video doesn't really do it justice. If you can get your hands on one of these and shoot it, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. Since the recoil is coming back and then is being redirected down towards the ground, you can shoot this thing really fast and keep it flat the whole time. The kick is basically non-existent. You can shoot it up close, you can shoot it out at 100 yards, and it's still really accurate. With a short 5.5 inch barrel, you wouldn't think that a 9mm round would be that effective at a distance like that, but to my surprise too, this thing is really accurate, dead on, and I would probably trust my life with it. Now you're probably wondering how this trigger feels. As you can see, it's a flat trigger shoe. It is rounded off on the sides a little bit, so it does make shooting it very comfortable. The take-up on this thing doesn't really feel like a handgun. It's almost not even a spring there. It's basically free moving until you feel that tension. Once you get there, there's a tiny bit of take-up, and then the brake. And then there's the reset, let out just a little bit, audible, tactile reset, which I like, and then a tiny bit of take-up again, but you're right at the wall. Now the brake isn't super crisp like you might find on some handguns, but the take-up is really, really smooth. It's not gritty, it's not a really hard trigger pull. Once you're there, you feel the tension, you pull it back to the wall, and it goes off. I can't really compare the trigger to anything else that I shot before, so much like the recoil system, I'd recommend going out, finding one, and shooting it for yourself. Overall, it's a super unique, pretty well-designed gun. The only thing negative that I could really say about this gun is how all the controls are kind of mashed up on this side. The mag button is recessed, but every once in a while you might find yourself pressing it by accident. When shooting quickly and doing transitions, you might find your palm rubbing up against a bolt catch. But other than that, it's a pretty good package. Once you get used to the controls, shooting it's a breeze. So there you have it, my long-awaited thoughts and opinions on the KRISS Vector. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a thumbs up, and as incentive, if we get to 5,000 likes by the first 30 days that this video is up, I will go out and buy the second most requested gun on this channel and do a video on that as well. If you're new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every week, and that's going to be it for today. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.